All right, so it is Thursday, February 5th. I'm here with another poem. I have class at 10. It is 7:23, and you'll probably see this on Friday at midnight. So I didn't want to rush through it, and I'll tell you a little bit of its inspiration. I was listening to Amazing by artist formerly known as Kanye West, and when he was saying, and I'm going to sound horrible saying it, and he was saying, and no matter what, you'll never take that from me. But he was saying it through a vocoder, which resulted in distortion, and it kind of felt like he was intentionally obfuscating or blurring his voice, if that's the right word. And for some reason, a lot of humanity opened up for me. So there's some irony having a kind of poem like this inspired by a person like that who said things that he said. Can we put that aside for a second? Um, I hope that you like this poem. It's going to be long, and these are two poems in one. Okay, so it starts like this. Nothing can be taken from what was forged in pressure. Say it again. Nothing. Not when your range is as far as the eye can carry memory, as far as the horizon where stolen names were renamed survival. Kanye's vocoder does not hide a voice, it fractures it so we can hear what history tried to smooth over. The machine does not erase the human, it exposes it. Metal against breath, signal trembling with blood. That distortion is not loss, it is testimony. History lays humanity naked on the table, not for spectacle, but for truth, scalpel in hand, pulling back the skin of centuries, revealing what held everything together while being told it was disposable. Plantations did not disappear, they were transformed, not by apology, but by endurance, turned into monuments that refuse erasure, structures that remember what the world would rather forget. Bodies leaning backwards to keep balance while charging forward, baskets lifted not for glory, but for everyone to eat. This is the mathematics of survival. Those most brutalized become the architecture of safety. Sidewalks poured with blood and genius, foundations mixed with bone and brilliance. The places where dehumanization was perfected become the ground where humanity learned how to stand. Minorities did not ask to be the safety net, they became it. They took shame so the world could practice innocence. They took poison so others could call it medicine. They took experiments no language can justify so life could understand itself in a mirror it did not want to face. Cells harvested, pain extracted, cures celebrated, names forgotten. But the body remembers. The body always remembers. History does not forget minority bodies, even when textbooks try. You have taken piss and poison and alchemized them into remedy. You have been built into rock so that institutions could pretend they stand alone. Do not say acceptance. Acceptance would require reckoning. Acceptance would require confession. Acceptance would require a society to look directly at what it has done and name it without flinching. That is why it hesitates. Because to accept you is to accept responsibility. To accept you is to admit that the consciousness it enjoys was purchased by attempting to destroy yours. But hear this clearly. Nothing has been taken, nothing can be taken. What you are is what allows reality to learn itself. What you carry is the proof that humanity survives, even when the world betrays it. Say yes again. Say it until say it until it shakes the ground. Yes to breath, yes to distortion, yes to survival that refuses to be quiet. Yes to the gold made from what was meant to kill you. Yes, yes, and yes. And now on to the second poem, which is called Hug All of Us, Hug All of You, a Mirror. As much as these poems are interesting to recite, I always find myself mourning over the fact that that there is a condition in this world that allows them to be produced. I don't know. I'd much rather never have to write a poem because of something I see wrong in society than to be able to give it a voice. I'm not sure if I expressed that properly, but it's just sad that there are conditions that allow this to be. Yeah. Reality does not lack mirrors, it lacks courage. It walks past its reflection every morning and calls the glass a distortion. It says, that is not me. That is other. That is an accident of angle. Bad lighting. History being dramatic again. But the shadow is not a rumor. It is the body standing where the light stopped. It is the record the sun keeps when it gets tired of forgiving. Reality wants cleanliness without confession. It wants monuments without fingerprints. It wants to be named innocent by the same mouths it trained to forget. The shadow asks for nothing theatrical, no apology tour, no wreaths laid at the edge of language. It only asks to be acknowledged as kin. Because the shadow is not the opposite of the self, it is the self after the story has been stripped of adjectives. Here is the crime. Reality learned to look at harm as if it were weather, unfortunate, unavoidable, something that simply happened to other people, somewhere inconvenient. It learned to call domination order, extraction progress, erasure stability. It learned to say we had no choice while choosing repeatedly to look away from the conditions it created. And when the hurt lifted their faces, when the wound spoke in grammar and breath, reality flinched, not because it did not understand, but because it recognized itself. This is the terror, not guilt, and sometimes guilt, recognition. To see us is to see you. To see us is to see you is not an accusation. It is simple anatomy. Your hands are in the shape of what they built. Your borders are drawn with borrowed bones. Your piece hums on a frequency tuned by someone else's silence. The shadow keeps receipts, not out of malice, but out of necessity. It remembers because memory is the only witness that cannot be bribed with time. Reality says, why do you keep bringing this up? As if the past were a rude guest instead of the foundation. As if blood dries into permission, as if enough years can metabolize a wound into myth. But the shadow knows this law. What is not faced does not fade, it migrates. It disguises itself as policy, as taste, as common sense, as a ball in the pool that you try and push down, but pressure always pushes it right back up. It teaches children how to inherit amnesia and calls that education. The shadow is not asking reality to hate itself. It is asking reality to stop lying about where its hands have been, to stop demanding empathy from the future while refusing it to the past, to stop asking the injured to perform forgiveness as proof of moral progress. Because there is no reconciliation without eye contact, no healing without the risk of disgust, no transformation without the humiliation of saying, this came from me. Reality does not want that sentence. It wants absolution without authorship, light without heat, grace without gravity. But the shadow does not negotiate. Once again, it waits, patient, exact, repetition. I hope you're not bored. It knows that one day reality will grow exhausted from outrunning its own outline. One day the mirrors will stop cracking. One day the refusal will become heavier than the truth. And in that moment, there will be no audience, no spectacle, just a meeting. Self, and shadow, which is self, standing close enough to share a pulse. And reality will finally understand that seeing us was never about shame. It was about honesty. It was about becoming whole instead of endlessly polished. It was about learning that the darkest thing a world can do is pretend it has no darkness at all. Thank you. Thank you. It's long. Thank you.